You may have heard of this game or seen it played on a street corner. It's known as the shell game. It's where they take one object, they put it under one of the three cups or the covers. The reason it's called the shell game is they normally use walnut shells. And you have to guess which one it's under. Well, this game is a little bit different than that. This is how magicians play it. See, it's not really a guessing game as to where the balls end up. The game is how they get where they're going. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense yet, but it's so fun to do this because this trick is over 2,000 years old. As a matter of fact, this is, well, it's nearly 3,000 years old. It's on an ancient painting in Egypt. Someone actually performing this trick. I invented this myself, living as a small child in Egypt. And never know what people will believe. So you might as well go for it, is what I say. It's actually pretty simple. Basically, you put one of the balls on top of one of the cups like this. You cover it with the other two cups like that. You give it a tap. It drops through, and it lands on the table. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, but it actually gets better. If I cover up that ball and put another ball above it on top of that cup, cover it up with these two cups, give it a tap, that one also joins the first one underneath the first cup. Of course, I could make it a little bit more complicated. Instead of putting this ball on top of one cup, I put it on top of two cups. Now it has to pass through the bottom of both of them, so I give it two taps, and it lands down there with the other ones just as quickly as before. Of course, that's the easy part. Like I said before, the hard part is to figure out where the balls are going to be and how they end up where they do. By that I mean this. If you watch the balls closely, I'll put one underneath each one of the cups, like that, one under each cup. And then I'm going to ask one of you to point to any one of the cups. Just go ahead and point to one. Will you point to one of the cups? This one, the one that's closest to you. Fantastic. Watch that cup very closely because I'm going to try to remove the ball from the center cup and place it under your cup. Pretty cool, huh? Now I'm going to take the ball that I placed under your cup and put it back under the... No, I wouldn't do that. We'll leave it there under your cup. If I was able to do that, that means that the ball is gone from the center cup and has landed right over there under the cup that you chose, and it has. Oh, let's try it again, but we'll go the opposite directions. For those of you that didn't see it on this end, we take the ball out from underneath the center cup, we drop it underneath that end cup, and if I was able to do that, that means the ball has gone from the center cup and has landed underneath there, leaving two balls on this end. Now, that is pretty impressive, but just like I said, the whole idea is to figure out how the balls get where they're going. So if we place a ball underneath each one of the cups like this, all you have to do is keep track of where they end up. It's that simple. You know where they are, yes? Mm-hmm. Yes? You followed along? Okay. How many under this cup? None. None. Oh, that's good. That's better than most. Yeah, that's very, very good. And how many under this one? Two? Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. And how many under this one? One. Okay. So I've moved one from here to here is what you're saying. Yeah? Did you miss when I moved that one from there to there? That's the one that goes backwards. See, it's easy to see when this one is gone. Everybody sees that one. There's nothing to it. Now, how many do you think are under the middle cup now? That's all I'm asking. You're absolutely correct. That's all I wanted to show you, is that all three of them, how they get where they get is the only question in the entire thing. That's all you have to be aware of. Well, you know, there's got to be something more than that, right? Has to be. You can't just make money doing that. That's silly. Yeah, as a matter of fact, everything I do is kind of silly. You know, I should have taken my dad's advice. He liked that I was a magician, you know. He really enjoyed it, and he used to help me perform all of these things, but he always told me if he had the chance to do it all over again, he would give each one of his kids something to do with sports. He'd give one a golf club, give another one a football, another one a basketball, give somebody a tennis racket. You know, honestly, I don't really play sports very much. Don't like to hang out with a lot of sweaty guys. So if I had to choose, I'd go for tennis. That's where all the cute girls are. Heck yeah! So the cups and balls. Of course, probably the best known classic of magic of all time, the cups and balls. Well, as you see in the version that we did, all you're going to need are some paper cups. So this is basically impromptu, because your preparation isn't to bring the cups in most cases. You can find those if you're out at some kind of a party. Or if you want to use this same routine structure and use it with some nice cups, you can do that as well, because this is a really very direct approach. The whole idea here is to get some moves out of the way and get to those final loads as quickly as you can. This is a really great introduction to the cups and balls. Now, I'm going to be using these pieces of paper to make the balls. Of course, in the presentation you saw, you just do it with dollar bills, you can do it with napkins, you can do it with anything that happens to be around. The idea is to look unprepared. So if you see that somebody has maybe some notepad sitting around, you just take one of those pieces of paper and crumple it up. Or if you're doing it with the money, you just crumple one of those up in advance. Now, don't show them that. This is all you need to have prepared. As far as final loads go, well, in the performance, I have prepared final loads. I have these 3 tennis balls. They appear to be normal tennis balls, but they're not. In fact, listen, because they are filled with BBs. All you do is you slice the tennis ball open a little bit. There's the mouth right there. You just slice it open, you put a funnel in there, you pour BBs inside of it, and now you have a tennis ball filled with BBs. You do not have to glue that shut. They will never fall out. These are actually made for juggling. It gives them a little extra weight, but the benefit is they don't move. They don't bounce. They barely even roll, but they just look like regular tennis balls. Now, in addition to that, I have a prepared table that I've been using, but you don't have to use that. If you're doing this impromptu, all you need to do is find 3 objects that will fit inside the cups that are a little bit larger and get them hidden either in your pockets or in your lap. That's a great way to do this, to just introduce things that you find in your environment that you can load in. Like you could have a watch on. That could go in there. Even some car keys. It doesn't matter if it makes a little jingling noise, because when you're loading it in, you're not going to notice that because it's closed in your hand. You'll see what I'm saying in a moment, and you can cover it with a joke or other actions, whatever you want to do. If you happen to find, if you're out at a party and there happens to be some snacks or maybe a lime or a lemon, you'll find things. If you're at a bar, you'll find things that you can put in there. But for us, let's look at the way the table takes care of the work for me on stage. So, this table has a large space in it and this lower shelf that extends a little bit. Those 3 balls are sitting right down there. This is sitting right next to them, so I can go into it at any time that I want to. And you're going to see this view when I show you how those are loaded in. But for right now, let's talk about what's happening up here on the table. When you start, you'll basically just have 3 cups and 3 impromptu balls that you make out of paper, dollars, a napkin, whatever you want to make them out of. So those are just wadded up to look similar to the one that's down there. So you show those, you place those out, and as you pick one of those up to show it, you pick up the other prepared ball, the extra one, the 4th one that they don't know about, and then you show the cups. Now I place the ball underneath the cups like that as I show them, so I can take each one of them off. It's just in a little finger palm over here, and place each one of them down, and I go back and forth so that I end up with the center cup, which I show. That leaves the ball right here, and then as I place that one down, I do a very simple load where it goes underneath the center cup. There's really nothing to it. So now you place a ball on top of that cup, you show the other 2, and when you put them together, this is a very standard cups and balls move. When you put them together and you lift up the whole stack, it looks as though that ball has penetrated through. So now you're going to repeat the thing again. I do want to talk about, very briefly, the right way to take the cups off, because I see people sometimes have problems with it. It's actually very easy. Sometimes when people take the cups off, they reach up with their hand like this and turn their hand over. That's a natural way to hold a cup. See the natural way to hold a cup? That's not magic. That's not how you do magic. What you have to do is do it upside down. So you want to turn your hand over first and grab the cup upside down so that your hand snaps over and puts the cup down. It's very easy to do that. And the reason is because in this center cup, there is that extra ball. So, hand comes palm up, and when it snaps over and puts that down, the ball doesn't have time to fall out. Makes your life so much easier. So that's the proper way to place the cups. Now you put the second ball on top, like that. You go through the same actions. It drops through. Now you have two of them. And again, you're going to repeat it. 1, 2, 3. At this point, you can change it up a little bit as long as you can keep track of where it is by placing two cups together and that ball on top of both of those cups. It's exactly the same thing, but you've got to remember now that the ball is in the lowermost cup. Now, what I'm going to change up is this. Because I have it in the lowermost cup, I want to get a little bit ahead of the game here. So I'm going to do a move pretty soon here that's called a 2-none-2. It's called that because you put 2 balls into the first cup, none, 0 balls into the second one, and 2 into the last one. And to get ahead of the game, you have that extra ball here, so you place that first cup behind the first ball. Then you place the other cups in a row like this. Now I'm going to turn so that you can actually see what happens from the front, and I'll expose how the balls go under the cups. Here's the position we're in. There's one already under the end cup on my left hand. These are empty, of course. So, by simply scooping this ball under that cup, I've placed 2 balls in the first cup. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I just tilt this up a little bit, not much because you don't want them to see it. Just tilt it and scoop the ball under. That's really all you're doing, but you're going to simulate that action here. So you might have noticed that when I did that, you didn't see my thumb. Okay? So scoop and my thumb is not exposed. So it's not like this. My thumb is actually down here in a pinching position as I scoop. Because that's going to happen here, and what I'm actually going to do, and I'll show you a little bit from the side, is simulate scooping it under, but I simply take it. So all I'm doing is grabbing it and acting like I'm putting it under, and immediately going to this ball. So here's the action: tilt, simulate, drop. And it looks like that ball is scooped under. So then this one is going to be added to that, and both of them scooped under together. And that's your 2-none-2. Now it's a really nice standard position to be in, because now you can ask the spectator to name any one of the cups. And regardless of the cup they name, something magical will happen to it. If they name the center cup, you say, fantastic, I'll cause the ball to disappear from the center. Okay, simple. If they name either of the end cups, you say, fantastic. Watch that cup closely, because I'm going to make another ball jump into that cup. And it doesn't matter which one it is. They both have 2 under them. So I'm going to make a ball jump under that cup. I'll vanish this one, and it will appear under that cup. Now at this point, what I do is I recover both of those. And of course, it doesn't matter which end they go to. In the performance, you saw them go over here. But I just recover both of them. And then I say, what if somebody had named the other end? Well, I could make the ball travel over there just as easily. And I do that. And now I'm going to show that there are 2 here. And I'm going to do a fake load, because I like to set the audience up for this move that's going to be coming when I do actually load things. So I drop my hand down where the loads are, and as I reveal that, I drop the cup down and pick it up with this hand, which is the same action that you're going to use when you load it. It just looks like this. You just pick it up, you put it into the other hand, and you gesture. So now we're in the situation where we have the extra ball already under the center. They think it vanished because that last one was implied. So you then just show the 3 balls and leave that extra one under the center. Because now you're going to go into another sequence, and this one is called a none-to-none. That's where you're putting nothing in the first cup, 2 in the second cup, and nothing in the last cup. Sometimes people call it a none-3-none, because you actually end up with 3 balls in the center cup. So remember, there's the extra one. You're going to act like you're scooping this one under, just like you did before, but this time you're not going to scoop it under. You're going to keep it clipped with your thumb, so there's nothing goes under that cup. Then you're going to use that hand that has that ball hidden to scoop the one that's here under with the one that's there. See, all 3 of them are going to go together, so you're going to scoop that all under. So remember, over here, nothing. All of them, you leave everything under that cup, and then nothing. and now you have a ball hidden in your hand, but you're going to keep moving on like this. Now you can lap this if you're seated, you can put it into your pocket, you can just wait if you want to, you can talk to somebody, or if you have a setup like I've got here, it just gets tossed right onto the shelf without a problem. So now you're going to recap what you've done. One goes under each of the cups, and you can say to somebody, how many do you think are under this? How many do you think are under that? Because at this point, you're really just setting them up for the loads that they don't know that are coming. So those are down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the table again so that you can see this sequence. It also doesn't matter if somebody does happen to guess or notice that you didn't put one under, which of course happened in the performance. Somebody was seated pretty far to the side and could see that I didn't put anything underneath this cup. And that's great because they don't know about these. So you're going to lift up an empty cup and show that there's nothing there. Now, if they expect an empty cup, then they're going to ignore the empty cup. If they think that there's a ball there, they're going to be surprised. Then they're going to look at the empty cup. Then they're going to ignore the empty cup. See, nobody pays that much attention to an empty cup. So I like to load it after I show that it's empty, and my hand comes up with the load, grabs the cup, and that's it. Now you want to do it pretty close to the edge, so it's like this, so that there's no chance that it's going to be seen. But I like to show that the cup is completely empty, and then just relax, bring my hand up, load the ball in place, and then just keep talking. Gesture with the cup that's been loaded, and then place the cup back where it was. Now I go to the other cup, and I do the same thing. Yep, nothing under there. Now, what do you think? The ball's gone from here to here, the ball's gone from there to there, all that kind of stuff. That's been loaded, and you just drop it in place. And now you have the big revelation that they're all in the center, which, if people haven't seen this before, they think that is the trick, that they all end up under the center cup. So you've got all the time in the world. Now, I do a kind of a delayed load here, because I don't want it to be the same tempo as the other ones. I want it to feel like that's the ending. So what I do is I pick the cup up, I bring it down to the edge like this, then I hit those forward, then I bring my hand up and I load the cup. So it's a little bit delayed, and the motion of those going forward kind of helps to conceal it. Now, if you're doing this with a good set of cups and balls, you've got to be careful that those balls don't roll too far, so it's a little bit easier to do what I did with this. Really, all I've done now is I've gotten all the loads in place, so all I have to do is pick up the 3 balls and just put them away. Now, in this cups and balls routine, it's so simple because there is no repeat sequence of the balls vanishing and reappearing. You don't have to do a lot of palming. You just have to get to the point where you've got the 3 loads under the cups, then you wait. You just relax. Because the more time there is between the ending, where you put them away, and the revelation, where you show that 3 large items have arrived, the more shocking that ending will be. So there you go. That's a pretty simple approach to the cups and balls, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'd like you to take your hands like this and rub them together a little bit. And you know what happens when you do that? That's exactly right. And friction causes heat, and heat causes your hands to get a little bit warmer, and that's important here in this climate. There's another thing that happens. Here, twist your hands like that so they're kind of one across another, and then roll like this. Yeah, perfect. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Don't press too hard. Okay? And then, when you slowly separate your hands, a little red, round, spongy ball appears between them, just like this. It's okay, Sarah. You didn't know it was going to happen. You didn't know it was going to happen, so you probably, you weren't prepared to do it. Put your hands together again, rub like I just did, and believe it or not, when Sarah separates her hands, she will have a ball exactly like this one. Open up. Oh boy. There you go. Now, Sarah, what I want you to do is to examine it and make sure that it is exactly what it appears to be, and you know what that is, yes?
Yes, it's a ball.
It's a ball, right.
Red ball.
Foam ball. Yes, that's good. All of those things are correct. A red foam ball. Okay, it looks like a clown's nose, and do you know why it looks like it's a clown's nose?
Because it is one?
That's exactly right. This is a clown's nose, but there's no opening in the ball to put your nose. And do you know why there's no opening? Because this is from a real clown. It's absolutely true. You can tell a fake clown from a real clown by plucking their nose off. And I do it all the time. I run up to every clown I see and I pluck their nose off and I look. If there's a hole, fake clown. If it's like this, you know what happens to them? No, when you pluck it off, they grow a new one, like this. So you can tell that they're real. It doesn't matter how many times you pluck them. They're still funny. Got to enunciate that line. Here, check those. Squeeze them both gently, please. And all I want you to do, all I want you to do is to decide which one of those you'd like to use for your very own.
This one.
Fantastic. Okay, you've picked your nose. Now I'd like you to, now I'd like you to put my nose on the table. Okay, that's terrific. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold your nose like this. Got your nose. It's kind of dumb, right? Okay, but I'm going to hold your nose in my hand. You're going to hold my nose in your hand. I'll give it to you. Okay. It's the polite thing to do, okay? So I hold your nose in my hand. You hold my nose in your hand, but hold it tightly like that. Squeeze it as tight as you can in one hand, just like this. And we are going to make each other's noses disappear. Sound like fun? Sounds like a weekend to me. All right, Sarah. Here's your instruction on how to do it. Point one of your fingers like this. Not that one, that one. That's good. That's good. Good choice of finger, too. I've seen them all. At this point, you never know what finger's going to come up. Take your finger and draw a circle right above my nose, like that, just like I'm doing above yours. Then give it one tap like this. Now, I'll go first. Look. Your nose is gone. Now, can you still feel mine in there?
Yes.
Yes? Really? Really? Huh. You feel it in there? Carefully open it up and... Wait, she got both of them! Now, Sarah, how did you do that? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, now it's impossible for me to tell which one is which. I can't really tell at all. So you decide. Which one of these is yours?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah, can you tell? Yeah? Yeah?
This one.
That one, you're probably correct. I have no idea. But here, hold on to it as tightly as you can. One fist, just like that. That's perfect. I'm going to place my nose over it. Wait, you have your nose?
Yes.
And I have my nose. We have to switch, but keep it tight like that. I'll do it with magic, okay? Watch. Your nose comes over here. My nose goes over there. They've switched places. Keep your hand closed. Let me check. Yep, that's yours. Okay. She doesn't believe me. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Here, look. I will take your nose. I'll give it back to you. Now you can show them that you have both. It's that simple. Pretty easy, right? Okay. Now, I'll tell you what. I can tell, I didn't check this to begin with, but I can tell that one of them is slightly larger than the other one. Can you tell which one is the large one? It's usually on the left. That's the one. Okay, good. All right. Turn your head and clear your throat. Okay. No, just sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, yeah, this one's larger, and do you know why? Because there's another one hidden right inside. Now, who's gotten in the middle of our little nose party here? It doesn't really matter. Now we have 3 of them. That's all we need to do the most amazing thing possible. Here, place all of them on the table like that. Fantastic. Now we're going to mix them up just a little bit. Okay. And can you guess which one has the money hidden under it? No. Oh, that one? Yeah, you think it's that one? We're going to leave that one right where it is. You take these 2 and place them together in your hands like that, like you're praying for this to work. Both hands, please. Yeah, like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. You got it. That's fantastic. Okay, good. Because it may work, as long as we hope.
Hopefully.
Okay, all right. Let's see. You have 2 of them? Yep, fantastic. All right. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to try to sneak one of those out and join this one. So you have how many?
1.
Well, you will, right? Yeah. But right now I have 1, and you have how?
2.
That's right, yeah, good. And I'm going to sneak one out. I'm going to put it with this, and I'll have how many?
You'll have 1, too.
I'll have 2 or what? Okay, look, you're confusing me, you're confusing them, and I think, honestly, it's my fault. I chose you. No. So, as long as you're laughing, it's all that matters, okay? All right. It is my fault, because that's a confusing thing to do. If I take one from there and put it here and one to there and that kind of stuff, I'll just give you all of them. That's fine. It clears up the whole thing. Now you have all of them. There you go. Cool, huh? Here, send them down there so they can see them, so they can see that all three of them are there. Here, I'll explain how that works. It's actually misdirection. I'm misdirecting you, okay? See, here's what I do. I put 1, 2 in your hands, and then I make this one disappear. For now, because I'm working with 2 hands, I'm going to put it in my pocket. And then the other one comes back, and then you have all 3. You see how the misdirection works? Look, I'll show it to you again. 1, 2 go into the hand, the third one goes into the pocket, and all 3 of them come back. That's the idea, right? So 1, 2 go into the hand, the third one goes into the pocket, and all 3. You understand how this works, right? 1, 2 go into the hand, and the third one goes into the pocket, and all 3 of them come back. You get the idea?
Can I try it?
You could, yeah. You could try it. I don't know what'll happen. But here, I'm going to do it again for you. 1, 2 go into the hand. The third one goes into the pocket. Now, most people think that I sneak it out. They're absolutely right. I turn it invisible. I toss it over there. That's how all 3 of them come back. You understand? So 1, 2 go into the hand. The third one goes into the pocket. And what do I do with it?
The third one comes back.
That's right. I toss it invisibly over like that. But you know, we've been having so much fun with this, but there's always got to be an end. So they all disappear. It's just the way it goes. Sad, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. The sponge balls are probably one of my favorite walk-around effects of all time. And you can probably tell by the way that I perform it how much I really enjoy it. And people really respond to it when you're having a lot of fun with it. It is a very fun, highly interactive, highly visual effect. It's not the kind of serious magic that some of you might be into, but I got to tell you, for the work, this has such a great impact on people. They absolutely love it. And it's not that difficult to do. Now, I work with the standard 4 sponge balls, and I work probably the easiest method, and it resets automatically, and I get a lot of mileage out of it. So basically, all you're doing is you're taking 4 sponge balls and placing them into your right-hand pocket, and you are ready to go. That is your entire setup. This has been worked out over years and years of walk-around magic. In Tarbell's day, people had to make their own sponges, but now, man, we have the best manufactured sponge balls that are so compressible and so easy to work with that you're going to absolutely love this. So when you start out, you've got nothing in your hands, and you tell somebody to rub their hands together like this. And as you're watching them, you just put both hands in your pockets. You get 1 sponge ball like that, and then you come back out and you rub your hands together. So I'm just rubbing the ball between my hands and then eventually showing that it's there. Simple, simple production. At this point, I do the joke where I say that they're going to end up with one just like this. And when they open their hands, I place the sponge ball into their hands. Everybody laughs, and as they're laughing, my hands go back into my pocket again, and I bring out the other one hidden like this. I then grab this ball at my finger and thumb like that, and so the other one is compressed by these fingers, but I get an isolation, I get distance between those fingers and that ball. And what's going to happen is I'm going to come up as though I'm twisting that one to tear it. And as this hand passes the other hand, it opens like this. They come together, I twist, and I separate them. So this ball never leaves from this position, and all my left hand does is pick this up and do that. It's really that easy. That's it. And I just give a little twisting action as I do it, and it looks like I've produced both of them. So there's that one, and I twist them apart, and I end up with 2 sponge balls, just like the first one. Now at this point, I have them examine those, and I relax, and I put my hands in my pocket, and I get the next one. And we have a little bit of fun. Sometimes I vary the routine depending on how long I want it to be. At this point, I'm one ahead again with them. So it's possible for me to take this one and place it into their hand. Now, when you place the sponge ball into their hand, you want to make sure that they close their hand completely. So I usually joke around a little bit. As I start to put it into their hand and they start to close it, I say, I want you to close it into your hand tightly like this. So their hand comes up and starts to close, and I take it away and demonstrate here, and they're left with nothing. And I say, no, you've got to grab the ball. Go on and grab the ball just like this. As soon as they try to grab it, I do it again, and I say, no, tightly in one hand. So I've now compressed them both together, tightly in one hand. Then I give it to them. Now they've got both of them. So you see, it's an easy way to make sure that they close their hand, and you get a couple of jokes. So that one that's left on the table, I'm going to act like I place it into this hand. Now to do that, I have to put it into this hand first. So I put it in that hand, and I say, point one of your fingers like this and draw a circle on the back of your hand above that ball. Now there I just did a false transfer. It's really simple. So the first time it goes in, point my finger, I draw a circle, I bring it out, and then as I close my hand, I grab it into finger, palm, act like I put it in, and then draw a circle like this. So here's the move, done slowly. There's really nothing to it. All I'm doing is I'm just acting like it goes in there. And I just grab it. So again, it's one of those things that's so easy to do that they really think it's there. And then you point like this, and mine's gone. And of course, they open their hand and they have both of them. So you take both of them and you show them. And now at this point, you say, which one of these do you think is larger? And you're going to repeat the same thing that you did before. If they say it's this one, you're already set up. You just put this one down and you twist it and it comes apart. If they say it's this one, you set that one down, you transfer it and twist it. Same thing. So now you end up with 3 of them. When you have 3 of them, you can now get the extra ball anytime you want to, because they take all the time in the world with 3 of them. For some reason, 3 is a magic number. As soon as they see 3 of them, they think that's it. They think that's as many as you're ever going to have. It just solidly resonates in people's psyche that 3 is the most that you're going to have. So you can take all of the time in the world to get that 4th one, that extra one in place. Now at this point, you take any 2 of them, whichever 2 you want, and you're going to place them together. Now this is something I saw Johnny Ace Palmer do, and it's great. Now I'm not 100% sure that it's his, but I saw him do it. I think it's fantastic. He's the only guy I've ever seen do it, and that's this. When you put those 2 together, you take this 3rd one and you place it underneath them between your hands like this. You can see how it's hidden. And you show it like that, and then you put that exactly the same way into the spectator's hands. So they are in prayer position. When they open their hands, they can see 2 of them. That's all you want them to see, is just 2 of them sitting in their hands. They can't tell that they've got a 3rd one. So that's the position that they're in over there. Now, I still have this one, so I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sneak one out of your hands and into my hand. So, if you have 2 and I have 1, if I sneak one out, then you'll have 1 and I'll have 2. Wait, that's confusing. Let me just make this one go over there. And it's exactly the same false placement. I'll make this one go over there. So, here it is, same false placement. This hand with the ball just drops down, and I flatten it against my leg. Now, it's kind of important at this point, because you don't want them to figure out. You don't want to keep this hand here and open that hand and have them look there. You want them to look at the spectator instead. So you go this one to there, check it out. And this hand goes flat against my leg as though I'm leaning in. And the ball's underneath it, boom, that's gone. They have all 3 of them. Because remember, they peeked in and they only had 2 before, now they have all 3 of them. So they're reacting to that. So what I do now is I reach out and I grab one of them and I place it into my hand. And as I place it into my hand, I add the extra one in. This is a classic of magic where 2 go into the hand and 1 goes into the pocket. Most guys wait. They put 1 in openly and show it. Then they put the second one in and add in the extra thing. I've found over years and years of doing this, that if you put the extra thing in with the first ball, it's so much more deceptive. They think only 1 has gone in, then they think 2 have gone in. Now the 3rd one goes into the pocket. Now as it goes into the pocket, you're actually going to put it back into finger palm and steal it out, but at exactly the same moment, you open your hand and show that all 3 of them are there. Then this hand comes out with this one stolen. And I dump those back into the spectator's hand. And I repeat the same thing. 1 goes into my hand. That's actually 2. Remember, I had an extra one. 1, 2. The 3rd one goes into the pocket, and I have all 3 of them. And you can repeat that over and over and over again, as many times as you want to, with the 3rd one coming back. In fact, it gets so good and so fast that your right hand never even has to go into your pocket. Check this out. Look, here's the extra ball. There's 1, there's 2, there's all 3. My right hand never has to go into my pocket, and they will think that it did. It looks like that 3rd one has been thrown into the pocket, even though it hasn't gone there. So you can get this so fast because you never have to actually put it into your pocket. And that's important for this, for the last repeat. And the last one is this. What you're going to do is you're going to go 1, 2, and then this time you very slowly place it into your pocket and bring your hand out. And you still have 3. And then you're going to say 1, 2 go into the hand, and the third one goes into the pocket. Now what I've done there is I've taken all 3 of them away. And here's the method. It's very, very simple. So this one really goes into the hand. As I act like the second one goes in, I steal both of them out. So let me expose it for you. Here's the second one. I just open my hand, I grab both of them. So these fingers come up and grab that one. Both go into the hand. So the action is 1, 2. They've both been stolen out. And I immediately pick up the third. And because they expect them to come back into this hand, they don't expect that you're taking them out. So it looks like 1, 2 go in, and the third one goes into my pocket. But what's actually happening is everything goes back into the pocket, and the routine ends with them all disappearing. It's that simple. Who's a big dog? Who's a good dog? Who's a big good dog? Come on, who is it? Who's a good? You? Are you? Are you a big dog? Yeah, big dog. All right, give it up. Woo! What's your name?
Landon.
What is it?
Landon.
Landon. Okay, Landon, I want you to stand right here. Well, actually, wait until I move, then you can stand right there. Stand right there, okay? Your job is to watch the hat. I'll make it easier. Make it easier. Stay. Good, Landon. Very good, okay? My job's a little more difficult, okay? What I have to do is I have to take these balls and get them underneath that hat using this to misdirect you. Oh, yeah, it's working. That's good. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm going to put it here. It doesn't disappear. See, when I do that, my dog thinks it disappears and he sniffs my armpit. Do you want to check? You want to check? You could. Okay, you're going to feel it. No, that's fine. It's an option, It doesn't disappear. It just goes under the armpit. But the idea is that I misdirect you with this to the hat like that. That causes the ball to disappear. And Landon, when you pick up the hat, it's underneath. Landon, when you pick up the hat, it's underneath. Good boy! Good boy! Nicely done. No, you can leave it right there. You can leave it right there. Now you know what to watch for, okay? You know what to watch for. Perfect, okay. That goes into here, and I try to misdirect you with this, okay? If you pay attention to this, then you're going to miss the ball going under the hat, okay? Just like my dog always misses the ball going under the hat because he's too busy watching the hamburger. Wouldn't you? Makes sense, right? What are you watching? The hamburger. Yeah, you see, that's the problem, okay? It works really well for humans, too, because you have 3 things to watch: the ball, the hamburger, and the hat. You can't watch all 3. Especially when I separate them this far. If I move my hand closer to the hat, then it's easier to see. When it disappears, pick up the hat. Good boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's exactly how it works. So 2 of them have gone underneath the hat. 1 of them still has to go. Right? You ready? That one goes into this hand. That goes on. Sometimes people think that has something to do with it. Check that to make sure there's nothing special about it. It's just a hamburger, right? Okay? And then squeeze it yourself. I usually let my dog do the last one himself. He gets it in his mouth. Don't put that in your mouth. I saw you thinking about it. Don't put that in your mouth. No. Well, now you do know where that's been. But don't do that. Don't put things in your mouth you don't know where they've been. Ask them first. I want you to squeak it near the ball here. Squeak it near the hat there. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. All 3 of them end up underneath the hat. You did good. Good boy. Good boy. All right. Now look. Now you know what to look for. Okay. Now you know exactly what to look for. So I'm going to do it again, but this time I want you to act like a tough dog. Okay. All right. You were very cooperative, right? This time I want you to be really, really tough about it. And I'll tell you what, the toughest people that I've ever worked for are on the East Coast. You ever been to the East Coast, Jersey, New York, that kind of stuff? Have you ever been over there at all?
I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
I know people from there.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I know.
Whenever I show them this, this is what they say. How you get those balls under the head? You and your balls. What are you doing with the balls? So why is it? How didn't you see the ball go? That's what they say, right? And that's the women. Now, the guys are even tougher. Okay? The guys are even tougher. So you're going to be tough. I want you to put your hand on top of the hat like that. Right? Put your hand right on top of the hat like that. So that there's no way I can sneak those underneath like this at all. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to try with all of them. All I have to do is get one of these under the hat. One ball under the hat. That's all I got to do. One ball under the hat. How are you going to get a ball under the hat without me lifting up my hand? Okay? That's what I'm going to try to do. You ready? I won't even use the hamburger. Okay? No using the hamburger, that's cheating. Right? No, it's cheating, right? Just the ball going on. In fact, I won't use my hands. The ball's going to vanish from my pocket and travel underneath the hat. How do you think that ball's going to get into there?
You're going to put it there.
Yeah? Do you think? I know what Landon's thinking. He's being nice. You say, I already got a ball into the hat.
Yeah, you already put it there.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Here, let's show them. Move back. Yep, one big red bull. Oh, yes! That's my dog's favorite trick. Thank you, Landon. Thanks so much. Okay, so this was originally entitled The Four Traveling Balls, which was the wrong number to use. Now, they probably didn't know a lot about the psychology of these particular numbers back when this was first written, but the audience should really only be aware of 3 balls. They had 4 with a 5th extra one. We're going to do it with 3 with a 4th extra one. And what we're looking at here is a way to get something secretly loaded underneath a hat. Some large object, whatever it is. As a matter of fact, Max Malini, one of the most famous magicians of a long time ago, used to load large items under a hat all the time. It's one of the tricks that he was very well known for, and it would be like a large block of ice or a large brick or a large whatever. It didn't matter what it was. Sometimes he'd carry the object around with him. Sometimes he would just find it and get it into there. I'm going to show you how to do it, and you can apply this to all kinds of objects. In this case, I'm using this. It's a dog toy that looks like a red bull. Now, you can make all kinds of jokes about that, any jokes that you want to, but the reason that I use it is because it fits perfectly with this hat. And that, I think, is more important than what the load is. It's how it fits. This hat goes perfectly over it, so it doesn't change shape at all, but if I squeeze the back of the hat, I am able to pick the bull up without any problem at all, without it looking like I'm trying to pick it up in any particular way. So that's why I like to use a load that fits just right. So if you come up with something else that you want to use as the load, try to make sure that you can still lift the hat in a natural way, and it seems like you've shown the hat empty just before you produce whatever it is. That's why that bull is so nice. Now, of course, that could be lots of different places. I could body load that somewhere. If I'm seated, that could be in my lap. Or with this table, because it's specially made with an extra shelf, I can do this as a stand-up trick. So this extra shelf allows that load to go right here, exactly where I'm going to need to load it in. Now, the way that it's loaded in, you'll see in a moment, it's basically done with 2 hands like that, as the hat's removed to show something else. But you'll notice that it's at the same angle that the hat's going to be at, where my right hand can come in here, my left hand can just cradle the load, and I drag it right up like so. Same thing if you're doing it from the lap, or if you're body loading it, what you do is this. You take the load in your left hand, you turn it, and you position it on your body wherever it's going to go. So some people have holders where it will go under the jacket. Of course, you'd have to have your jacket unbuttoned so it's not obvious, and it'll drop right into your left hand. You can turn your left hand and load it right in. This is actually the easiest way to do it, but it looks really deceptive since you're doing it standing. Okay, in addition to that, you're going to need some other thing as a distraction. Some people use just a magic wand, but since I'm introducing the idea of the dog toy early, I use the hamburger. The hamburger is just to use to distract people's attention. In addition to that, you're going to need the 4 sponge balls. One of them is hidden in your hand. The other 3 are displayed. And when you begin, you show the hat empty. And you can show the hat very clearly empty with that ball still hidden in your hand like this. There's nothing in the hand. The idea is that I'm going to get those to go under the hat. So now I'm going to reach inside like this with my fingers. That sponge ball goes right up against the inside of the hat, and I show it. So when I lay it down, there's one ball underneath the hat to begin with, but it looks very, very clear, like I haven't done anything. So I pick up one of these, and I do a false transfer, and I pick up the hamburger. Now that false transfer is just pulling the ball out as I appear to place it in. And since I'm going directly from here to the hamburger, no one thinks that that ball is in this hand. So squeak there, it vanishes. Now you'll notice that because I'm holding this other object, this hand seems completely innocent. So I can reach over, I can pick up the hat, and there it is. Then I can put the hamburger down, place the ball into the hat, and show it empty again, and repeat it again. You do it 3 times exactly the same way. This one, false, to the hamburger, squeeze, squeeze, gone. There it is. Hamburger down, ball into the hat, hat's empty, apparently, goes over those. The third one is in place. So now you get them to focus on that third one. It's going to happen the same way. False transfer, hamburger, squeeze, squeeze, and then when you show your hand is empty, you can have them pick up the hat. And as they pick up the hat, or you can pick up the hat, doesn't matter, all that's going to happen is this. The hamburger is going to transfer to the other hand. This extra ball is going to be tossed under the table, and you're going to get in position to take the hat. Now, you can do it yourself if you want to. There we go. You can do it yourself if you want to, because you've transferred it like that. So all you have to do is say, now, it's impossible for me to get it under the hat, but I'm going to show you that it is there as I very carefully and gently lift up the hat. You want to make sure both of your hands are empty so they see that. Or you could have them lift it again if you want. So you lift up the hat like this, and all 3 of them have appeared underneath it. If you want to, at this point, you can load the bull in. Okay? So sometimes I prefer to wait for it. Sometimes I like to do it here. It really depends on how the audience feels. Max Malini used to say about this and most of the other moves that the best time to do them is when the audience isn't looking. So sometimes you have to look at them to see if it's the right time. Now watch this movement, okay? This is the movement. The hat comes up and then down to the table and then away. And that's it. That's how you know that nobody will ever see the load. It comes up and brushes the edge of the table and comes away. Now I can lift my left hand and there's nothing there. That allows me to clear the space and put the bull down like that. And at this point, I can put these away. I can introduce the last moment. I can lift the hat up again and show that there's nothing there. And then I can wait for the proper moment and show that the large thing has arrived. That's how you get a load under the hat. I hope you like Heinz ketchup. I grew up in Fremont, Ohio. You know, there's a Heinz ketchup factory up in Fremont, Ohio. Did you know that? Oh, it's great. Oh, like once a week, every week, pretty much, we would smell the ketchup wafting over the city. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay. Now, when I give you your condiment, close the sack at the top like that so that it cannot get out. Do you understand? All right, fantastic. Okay, and mustard. Mustard, 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 mustard. Okay. All right. I'm trying to get a mustard out of there for Keith. Mustard. Now, this is also Heinz mild mustard. I hope that's okay with you. We don't have any Dijon, no Poupon, nothing fancy like that. No stone ground or anything like this. So it's straight up mustard, and close the top of the bag so it cannot get out. And of course, we have the last one is a relish. I got nothing.
No,
nobody.
we're good. It's
Nobody.
fine.
Is it fine?
It's-
Nobody really likes
No,
it, so
it's fine.
that's all right. All right. So you get that. Close. Oh, sorry. Close the top of the bag so that you get yours. Okay, fantastic. Open up the top of your bag, and you get ketchup. Fantastic. Close the top of the bag. You get mustard. Okay, just like that. And you get a relish, just like this. Now, I'd like each of you to think of an interesting way for me to give you another ketchup, mustard, and relish. So, you need to have some kind of comment to say. I already told you a little story about growing up in Fremont. What could you say that would be fun about ketchup?
I like ketchup in my spaghetti.
Oh, neat. No, that's good. Sheila, that's great. That's great. That's fantastic. Open the top of your bag, and you get ketchup. All right, fantastic. And then we have a mustard. Mustard?
So I have to say something?
No, I'll help you.
No,
You got something?
I used to put it on my face to make funny, like mustaches.
No. Now, for reals. Okay. All right. So that's good enough. Open the bag, and you've been thinking, haven't you? And you have nothing. You have nothing. You hate relish. All right. Let me get you one of these here. Hold on a second. A relish for you. Here's one for you. Whenever I eat relish, I feel like I'm in a pickle.
Yeah,
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. Close your bags up like that. Hold them up at the top. Now, here was the problem with my job. I would take all of this time asking people what they liked. You know, what do you like? Ketchup, mustard, relish, that kind of stuff. And I'd give them what they'd like. If they like ketchup, I'd give them a bunch of ketchup. If they like mustard, and so on and so forth, right there. My boss comes over, and he says, "Why are you spending all of this time? Just give them one of each. They will decide." And I thought, wasteful. Nobody's going to eat relish unless they like relish, So they're just going to waste it, right? Right? But you can't argue with a boss. You know that. Yeah. So I decided I was going to quit that job and go into magic full time. And here's how I did it. With a snap of my fingers like this, I want you to reach inside, pull out a ketchup.
She has my mustard.
Wait! No! Pull out a ketchup. Wait! Pull out a ketchup.
I don't think I have any.
You do. You've got one of each. Is there anything else in the bag? No, the bag is completely empty. Let's give Sheila a big round of applause. Here, those are for you. Ketchup, mustard, and relish, one of each, just like you wanted. Is it possible? You've been holding onto the bag solidly the whole time. Snap of the fingers, reach inside, pull out a mustard.
She has my mustard.
No, it's a ketchup. Pull out a mustard. That's a relish. Pull out a mustard. One of each. Is there anything else in the bag? Is there anything else in the bag? No. Here, that's for you. Let's give Keith a big round of applause. And, of course, pull out a relish. That's a mustard. Pull out a relish. That's the relish, and one last one. The ketchup. One of each. Those are for you. Is there anything else in the bag? No, that's for you, Laura. Thank you so much for helping out. Of course, the real secret is that you've got to be kind of zen about what you get in this life. So one of each isn't bad. But did you ever hear the old joke about how the Zen master orders a hot dog? Make me one with everything. Got to say it right, right? It's great. No, you're close. You're very close. You're very close. And I love that joke. And so does my dog. Okay, admittedly, this is kind of a strange presentation for what was, I guess, a beautiful routine way back when it was first published. The original routine in the book was called the patriotic balls, and basically you had red, white, blue, balls in little containers, and then you would place them one at a time into different places, and then at the end they would mix together, kind of like what you've seen with the ketchup, mustard, and relish. Okay, so the first part is that I wanted to make it a little bit more interactive, I wanted to make it a little funnier, and I wanted to give it some kind of an ending that has a little bit more impact than just that the colors all mixed together, which is all that happened. So I've changed it to this. Admittedly, I think not many people would perform this, but if you're a comedy magician, I think it's perfect for you. Also, it's possible for you to change the ending to be any large thing that you want to produce, so you want to think about what these objects have to do with the ending. Okay, in my presentation you saw what happened. Basically, I end up producing this large hot dog toy. These are not that easy to find. It used to be that hot dogs for dogs were very, very popular. I looked everywhere. I had to search all over the internet just to find this particular one. And even this isn't perfect. This one looks great as a comedy prop, but I had to doctor it up. So when I bought this, I had to repaint the hot dog, which was this very unusual dark brown color. Didn't look very good, so I had to turn it a little bit more red so it shows up. And I had to touch up the condiments on the top there just to make it so it looks a little bit better. Okay? If you want to, you can use a real hot dog as the ending instead of this, or any suitable prop that you find. Now, the important part is that it fits inside a bag, and you're going to need 4 bags. So one of them is preloaded with the final production. So that goes in here. Now that has to be hidden somewhere. So this that makes it a stage trick, If you're working out of a case, you could have it hidden in there. I'm working out of this table, which basically it substitutes for a case, as you've seen already. And let me just turn it so that you can see that it's got this big empty space in there with an extra shelf. That's where I place the hot dog already in the bag, ready to go. So that's placed on the left-hand side. And then what the audience sees are 3 bags. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to snap those open. And that actually makes the trick a little bit more impressive. So you want to learn how to snap a bag open. You put your thumb in the little thumb hole right there. You give it a good sharp downward snap, and it should pop open. I'll do it again for you. Put your thumb in the thumb hole there and give it a good sharp downward snap, and it should pop open like that. Okay? So you open up the 3 bags, you give them to 3 different people, and now I'm going to show you how you distribute the condiments with those 3 people. So we'll just do away with the bags. I'm going to leave them right over here for just a second, and I'll show you what happens as I hand them to the 3 people. So imagine that there's a bag here, here, and here. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to reach into the bag and you're going to put them in this order: ketchup, mustard, relish. So you reach in and you're going to pick up one of the ketchup packets. And it's going to look like you put that into the bag, but what you actually do when you reach in is you take the next one in the sequence in your hand. So you reach in, you find a mustard, which would be the next one in the sequence, and you palm the mustard in your hand as you bring out the ketchup. So see, I've got a mustard right back here. Then as my hand goes into the bag, I leave the mustard, I palm the ketchup, I come back out, and I start to get the next thing that I need. So I'm already 1 ahead. So now I'm going to drop this one, and I'm going to pick up a relish, because that's the last one, and I'm going to pick up a mustard, like this. So I show the mustard that's supposed to go into the second one, but I already have a relish in my hand, and I do the same switch here. I leave the relish, I palm the mustard. So now down here, I've got to pick up a ketchup. It's like I'm going around the circle. So I'm picking up the next one, and I'm palming that in my hand as I find a relish. So ketchup's back here, relish is out in the open, same switch into the bag, the ketchup goes in, and the relish goes in my hand, and I come back to the first person. Okay, that's sequence number 1. It looks to the audience like I've put in ketchup, mustard, and relish, but I've switched each one, so now we're basically 1 ahead. Now I've got to do 1 behind for the next pass. I already have this relish in place in my hand, so I don't have to get rid of it. What I'm going to do now is instead of jumping to what should be next, I'm going to jump to what was previous to it. So I have relish in my hand, and I pick up a ketchup, and I show it. So as it looks like I'm putting the ketchup into the bag, I'm leaving the relish, and I'm palming the ketchup. And now I don't have to get rid of the ketchup. It stays in palm. I go get a mustard, right? I switch it. The ketchup goes in there. The mustard goes into my palm. I don't have to switch this. I pick up a relish. One last switch. The mustard goes here. The relish goes into my hand. I come immediately back. And now the third sequence is legitimate. Okay? So this is the situation that you're in here. So the third sequence, when you put a ketchup for real in this bag, and then a mustard for real in this bag, and then a relish for real in that bag, you will have one of each in each bag. That's how you get them to be distributed. Okay, so you're going to have to go over that sequence again if you want to do this. The first pass, you're one ahead. The second pass, you're one behind. And the last pass is legitimate. So now, at this point, what's going to happen is you're going to have somebody reach into their bag and take out one of these at a time and show it to you, and you end up with 1, 2, 3 different ones in the first bag. Then you move to the second person, and you'll take their bag. And I'm holding on to the first person's bag here. You'll take, the second person will reach into their bag and take out 1, 2, 3 things, and then I transfer the bag to this hand. I take their empty bag, nothing else in it, like that. I thank them, you know, and as I'm doing that, these 2 bags are coming down here to where I've got that hot dog already preloaded. So all I do is I pick that up and I mush it in with those 2 bags. So you can't really tell that I've got 3 of them. Just looks like I'm holding 2 empty bags. The third person does their thing. They bring out these 3, 1, 2, 3 like that. I add their bag in with all of this. You don't need to see that. It's just a whole big bunch of stuff. And then I just mush the bags together, snap my fingers or do whatever magic gesture that I want to. I reach into the bag and produce the big final load. That is how you do the hot dog trick.